العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، سيما بقية الله روحيه وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير، الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد. Dear mu'mineen and mu'minat, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Eid Mubarak, both A'yad of Muslimin, Eid al-Jumu'ah wa Eid al-Fitr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us a real return to Him on this day. A day of Eid is a return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-Aud, and that is the real return. And such an opportunity that we have today, being the day of Friday and being Eid al-Fitr, is a great opportunity to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to reflect on our journey and make sure that we are on the right path. We have made that U-turn. And in fact, the day of Eid is a day in which we can make sure, even if we missed out throughout the month of Ramadan, we can make sure we can adjust that today. The day, Laylatul Eid and the day of Eid. We are told in the riwayat, from multiple narrations from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Ahlul Bayt salawatullah wa salamu alayhim ajma'in, that the day of Eid is a day that we are expecting the gifts, the jawaiz. As we come out towards Salatul Eid, we are told that we have to recite a dua. And in that dua we say, Allahumma man tahayya. There are people who are preparing themselves to go out. And when they prepare themselves, they dress up and do all it takes to prepare themselves on a physical level to go to a physical king. And when they go to the physical king, they are expecting physical hadaya, physical gifts and rewards and bonuses and whatever else that you may think of on a physical level. However, on this day, Ya Allah, we come out preparing for you only and to meet you only. And we come out to get some gifts from you, no one else. And here the gifts have to be related to that journey and to that coming out. It is no longer the physical gifts. It is the spiritual gifts that we want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why in the hadith, in the narration from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, he says that فَإِذَا كَانَتْ غَدَاتُ يَوْمُ الْفِطْرِ, if it is the day of Yawm al-Fitr, the day of Fitr, Eid al-Fitr, there will be angels, بَعَثَ اللَّهُ الْمَلَائِكَ فِي كُلِّ الْبِلَادِ. In every part of the world, the angels will come, and they will descend, and they will stand and start inviting people on a spiritual level, if we only could hear them. And they say, Ya ummata Muhammad, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, ukhruju ila Rabbin Kareem, come out to the generous Lord. Ila Rabbin Kareem, He is the generous Lord. When you go out to any king in this physical world, we're not sure if we're going to come back with basically what we have gone out for, what we wanted, or we come out empty-handed. There is a possibility in this physical world with the physical kings, with these people who are not the generous Lord, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you may come back empty-handed. But this is not the Rabb that would bring you back, send you back empty-handed. Rabbin Kareem. He says you go to Him, يُعْطِ الْجَزِيلَ وَيَغْفِرُ الْعَظِيمِ. He gives so much and He forgives the great sins. Even if you have gone so far and you have deviated, وَالْعَيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, and gone on the path of sinning, He forgives the greatest sins. And He says in the Holy Quran, يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ. O my ibad, O those who have been extravagant against themselves in sinning, do not despair from the mercy of your Lord. He forgives all sins. This is the Rabbun Kareem. He is forgiving. The most beautiful gift on the day of Eid, my brothers and sisters, is to be forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we only understood that. Because when we are forgiven, things turn to the better in every sense, in this world and in the hereafter. You start seeing beauty, regardless of the circumstances. Don't think that when we say turn to the better, out of a sudden a bag of golden coins is going to fall in my lap, or somehow you win the lottery. They said to someone, what are you waiting for? He said, I'm waiting to win the lottery. They said, you need to buy the ticket first. He never bought a lottery ticket. We need to seek the forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is the one who does everything in this world and in the hereafter. And the best gifts. And He says in this narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He says, He is yu'til jazil. He gives so much. He gives without reckoning, without hisab. This is the Lord that we go out for. But what is it that we should ask for? What is the most significant thing that we should ask for on this day of Eid? The most significant thing, my brothers and sisters, is guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I want to share with you one riwayah, because all of us, we need to reflect on where we are in our journey and make sure we're heading in the right direction. Make sure we have not somehow completely missed the train or somehow deviated of the path. We need to reflect on that. There is a hadith that I want to share with you from Amirul Mu'mineen salawatullah wa salamu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa. This hadith I have shared with Mu'mineen several times, but every time I share it with myself and everyone. It's a reminder for myself and everyone, with myself included. When the Imam says, رِضَاكَ عَنْ نَفْسِكَ فَسَادُ عَقْلِكَ, to be pleased with who you are and what you are and where you are, to be pleased with your nafs, is the destruction of your intellect. Therefore, if I am pleased with myself, and especially the nafs, we recite in Salat al-Eid 2 surahs. One, Surah al-Adha, recommended, and one, Surah al-Shams. Both surahs refer to the tazkiyah. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. In Surah al-Shams, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّى. One referring to tazkiyah in general, one referring to tazkiyah specific, perhaps with regards to your purification of your wealth. Both parts of tazkiyah, all kinds of tazkiyah, this is victory. رِضَاكَ عَنْ نَفْسِكَ, if you are pleased with yourself, you have written your own letter of destruction, basically. You know, somebody delivers his own letter of, basically, the capital punishment, his own letter. You have done that to yourself if you are pleased with yourself, because that means I stop in my journey. If I'm pleased, I stop in my journey. In my journey, what am I expecting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He says to me, come, I give gift. I don't want any more. When we do not seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the day of Eid, my brothers and sisters, let us make a conscious intention. Let us make that sincere, genuine dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, I want to increase in my knowledge and action. Rabbi zidni ilman wa amala. Oh Allah, increase in my knowledge and acting upon the knowledge that I have on this day of Eid, because that is what I can do to reach purification. Tazkiyah requires knowledge. There is no one that fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except through knowledge. The ayah is very clear and very specific. The more knowledge you have, the more fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you have. Therefore, we need to have more knowledge, my brothers and sisters. We need to make sure on this day we do not think that what I have is good. And what I've learned up to this point is good enough. Many of us act in this way. I may be a victim of that. Many of us may be. I want you to reflect on it. I want every one of us to reflect on where we are, and am I pleased with where I am in my journey? Do I think I am in the right direction? Does anyone here think that I am heading in the right direction? My religion is good, I'm fasting, I'm praying, I'm reading dua, I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, avoiding the things that I'm supposed to be avoiding, and I'm heading in the right direction. Is anyone convinced that that's totally true? If that is the case, my brothers and sisters, change that now. Because unless we change that, we cannot progress. You speak of progress, this is progress. Progress is to reflect on my level of guidance. Do I have the real guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or somehow did shaitan penetrate? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there is no prophet that we sent, and he had a wish, tamanna. His wish was for the guidance of his people, except that shaitan comes and influences his intention or wish, not by deviating the prophet. Anyone who thinks that has not understood the concept of prophethood or infallibility. That is not what the ayah is saying. It's saying that the ummah trying to follow the prophet, not knowing, deviate. That is what it's saying. Deviating without realizing. This is what we need to reflect on. I cannot be pleased thinking that what I grew up to think that is truth, and what I have come up to this point of my life is absolute truth, and I fight for it, and I defend it, and I do not question it. I don't try to gain further guidance. This is my destruction. This would be my destruction. And this should be everyone's case today, saying, Ya Allah, raise your hand and genuinely ask for guidance. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On this day, Imam Hassan alayhi salam, in a narration, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, he saw people playing and having fun on the day of Eid. He looked at his companions and pointed at these people. He said, do these people not realize what this day is? We think we fasted, often like people fasting in the daytime, so now that we break our fast, we did so many favors to God all day. And so much favors to God all day. I've been fasting for you, and therefore now I have the chance to play all night and have fun all night. There's no need to ask you for guidance. There's no need to pray and recite those du'as that are prescribed by Ahlul Bayt to help us purify. And the same could apply to some of us. We fasted all the month of Ramadan. Today is the day of Eid. Today is the day to be happy. Forget about... No, Islam teaches us on the day of Eid we gather and we recite Salatul Eid. And then we reflect. The Imam is saying these people do not realize what day this is. On this day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the jawaiz to who? The ones I shared earlier today. I gave an example. I said if they are giving gifts here in the masjid, a great example. They say anyone who comes here is going to get a great gift today in the masjid. Some sponsor, alhamdulillah, we have a lot of general sponsors in the masjid, and some sponsors giving every musalli some generous gift. I won't name the number because it's relative to each individual. And everybody comes in. Some people standing outside playing, hoping to get the gift. Are they going to get the gift? They need to be attentive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's call so that they receive the gift. The Imam is saying this is the day of Eid. Reflect. Today, call upon Him. Today is the day that we have to be in extra dhikr, extra remembrance. Throughout the day, call upon Him. Ask Him, Ya Allah, we did what we did, but we did a lot of taqseer. We fell short of what we could throughout the month of Ramadan so much. Let not anyone think that we've done favors to God because we fasted. That was His favor upon us. The fact that He guided us to that is His favor. Now it is our chance to say, you guided us throughout the month. We missed out on so much, Ya Allah. Forgive us and guide us today. Let us genuinely and sincerely ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this day to guide us to be the better servants in the right direction. Purify our hearts. Purify us from doubts. Purify us from doubtful paths. Let us ask Him to make us amongst those who listen to what's said and follow what's best. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد المصطفى وعلى علي المرتضى وفاطمة الزهراء وخديجة الكبرى والحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين زين العابدين ومحمد بن علي الباقر وجعفر الصادق وموسى بن جعفر الكاظم وعلي بن موسى الرضا ومحمد التقي وعلي بن محمد النقي والحسن بن علي العسكري والحجة القائم المهدي الإمام المنتظر صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. اللهم وال من والاهم وعاد من عاداهم وانصر من نصرهم واخذل من خذلهم والعن من ظلمهم. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير. عباد الله اتقوا الله وتزودوا فإن خير الزاد التقوى واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. اللهم صل على محمد. Dear Mu'mineen, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, Jumu'ah Mubarak, Eid Mubarak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this day a day of reflection, a day of purification and return to Him for all of us, inshallah. One thing I wanted to mention regarding the gaining of knowledge, which is very important for all of us. In fact, this occurred to me when I was praying Salatul Eid, and I was in Qunut, reciting the dua as we all recited it together. Allahumma ahl al-kibriya'i wal-'azama wa ahl al-judi wal-jabarut, and the rest of the beautiful dua that we recite. And in one of the qunuts, as we know, we recite the qunut 5 times in the first rak'ah and 4 times in the second rak'ah. And this is the recommended dua that we recite in this salat, although we can recite any dua in the salat. It occurred to me at one of those qunuts, and I'll say it, some of you may found it very weird that I would recite the English one of the qunut in one of them. I was almost about to do it. There was one thing that stopped me. What it could be. And the one thing that stopped me was fearing that some of you may think that something went wrong and their salat breaks. You know, coming to say, Sheikh, you may forget that you're something. I thought maybe that will happen and I will break someone's salat, or maybe make them completely lose their attention, paying attention to the fact that I have done something wrong, and therefore I break their concentration in their ibadah, in their salat. But my concern, and why I say this, is because we recite this dua. And how many of us understand this dua? And I'm not going to ask you to raise hands if you understand the dua and humiliate the ones who do not raise hands. And I'm not going to do this in khutbah because it's not meant to be a dialogue. The khutbah of Jumu'ah, contrary to other sermons, is not a dialogue. It's a monologue. Okay? And therefore, I'm not expecting anyone to respond here. But think about it. How many of us understand this dua? If I do not understand this dua, what am I asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for? I raise my hands and I say, Allahumma ahl al-kibriyai wal-'azama, and I recite from the beginning of the dua until the end of the dua, and I don't know what I'm asking. Do we know what we're asking? If we don't know, there is a problem. So you have a chance. In the first khutbah I said, my brothers and sisters, we need to seek in order to continue in our journey, we need to seek knowledge. You have a chance from now until next Eid, Eid al-Adha. You need to make sure at least 90% of the community understand the dua, because I'll ask you before the salat. Maybe. I won't, but I'm hoping that you do. Otherwise, I will have to do the qunut in English. And then I have to do it in multiple languages. I won't do that, but my brothers and sisters, we recite dua and I don't know what I'm asking for. What am I saying? Ya Allah, do something for me. I don't know what it is, but do something for me. Perhaps if I say that in my language, actually. If I say, I don't know what I want, and I don't know what the Imam asked for, I really don't know what he asked for, but whatever he asked for, please do it for me. Perhaps that's a good intention. That's a very good intention, in fact. But the more we know, the more we can get, the more we can benefit. It's a great opportunity that we recite dua. Let us make sure we understand the dua. I ask teachers in madrasa, I ask parents, that when you are teaching these children the Quran that you are teaching them, and the dua that you are teaching them, it is important to pay attention to the correct pronunciation. I'm not doubting that. But before you pay attention to their pronunciation, make sure they understand what they are saying, because that is what matters. If I pray salat and I don't know what I'm saying in Surah Al-Hamd, part of Surah Al-Hamd is dua, by the way. There is praising, and there is glorification, and there is dua in Surah Al-Hamd. If I don't understand what I'm asking for, what sort of a dua, what sort of Surah Al-Hamd is it? Let us make sure that we teach first ourselves and our children and the community the meanings of what we recite. This is most significant, my brothers and sisters. This is part of what we have in a journey of purification. Another part which the President, Brother Inayat, mentioned is our concern for the rest of the world. As Muslims, on the day of Eid, it is a tradition that we try and help others. And in the month of Ramadan, we fast so that we feel with others. Maybe giving some of our money is something that's good for those people. We do as much as we can, which is great. I don't believe that's enough. I don't believe that by giving few cents to an orphan, and I mean cents, to an orphan, we have done our duty by the orphans. The Prophet says, wipe over his head. The Prophet says, the Imam, Amirul Mu'mineen, not says, does feed them with his own hands. I'm giving you examples of what is needed and what we're doing. What is needed is that kind of care. What we're doing is simply giving few cents. Some people are dying because of oppressors. What is needed is something we need to reflect on. What we're doing is simply praying for them. I don't know how genuine is that dua if I'm not doing anything about it. It is like the dua or the people of Musa ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi salam. When he faced the enemies, they said to him, you go with your Lord. اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنا هنا قاعدون. You go and fight with your Lord. You go get his help and fight the enemy. And we'd sit here and do nothing, wait for you. When you're victorious, just call us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَحَرَّمَهَا عَلَيْهِ. He made it haram on them to enter a city and have a home. Why? Because of their defiance. We have a duty. Let us not do the bare minimum and do what we call in the Arabic language, rafa' atab. We do just to remove the blame off my shoulders. I've done something, so I'm good. Let us make sure that we're doing more than that. Helping the poor and needy, do not give your petty change, whatever you don't need, or you can do with that. Like, give generously. And go and get involved in those projects that try and help them. There are projects of people who don't just help them financially, but help them to establish themselves. If you can adopt some of these children. We have today a case in some of the Muslim countries, inshallah, and not in this community, but if we don't do the right thing, it will come to us. That now they're adopting dogs and cats and animals and pets. Because we have extra cash so we can spend on these things. What about adopting some orphans and taking care of some of these orphans? Let us think about it before these diseases come to us, because the rest of the world, especially the world we're living in, they have replaced not only orphans by their pets, they replaced their own children by pets. This is the reality. And if we don't pay attention to what's happening, we will fall in the same trap. Let us make sure that we are doing our duty as much as possible, and we have that genuine concern. As we recited the dua throughout the month of Ramadan, Allahumma aghni kulla faqir, Allahumma ashbi' kulla ja'i'. Let us make sure that we were genuine in saying that we want every poor to be fed. We want every poor to be sufficed and every hungry to be fed. This, if it is a genuine one, then I should eat what suffices me and share the rest. It's only the real answering of that dua is with our Imam, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif, with his return. And therefore, let us ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this. That, Ya Allah, is almost there. If it's not there, how much more would it be, Ya Allah? Throughout the month of Ramadan, we recited in dua al-iftitah, Allahumma inna nashku ilayka faqda nabiyyina. We complain to you, Ya Allah, that we do not have our messenger with us. When he was with us, when he was with the victorious, and we do not have waliyina, we do not have our imam with us. If he was with us, we would be victorious, but we need to be ready for back our imam. Ya Allah, give him safety, security, and guide us to be amongst his followers, companions, his guards, and those who are preparing for him. Amongst those who listen to what's said, follow what's best. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. صدق الله العلي العظيم.